anybody, anywhere. I'm Fred Utel. Now, how well do you know your own history? How well do you remember the headlines that make the story of your own lifetime? Well, we're going to show you some of those headlines as they actually happened. And then I'll ask you some questions to see how well you remember the events that changed the shape of your own life. It's your world. What do you know of it? This is the story of one of the true heroes of our times, a hero of the sea. The Flying Enterprise, outward bound from Hamburg with coffee, pig iron, and mail, is crippled by the most furious North Atlantic storm in 22 years. By morning, the heavy seas have the ship listing at 65 degrees, her plating cracked, all power lost, helpless before the sea. The crew is ordered off, but the skipper, Henrik Carlson, refuses to leave. While the world watches this corner of the Atlantic, the salvage tug Turmoil tries to get a tow line aboard. Carlson, holding on with one hand, can't make it fast. And then a daring officer of the tug leaps aboard and helps secure the line. The ship creeps through raging seas at an agonizing 3 knots. 41 miles from Falmouth and safety. In sight of the coast, the tow line parts. The ship is over on her beam ends. All hope is lost. The destroyer Willard Keith picks up Carlson and the third mate of the tug. The Flying Enterprise sticks her bow in the air and slides down to the place seamen call Fiddler's Green. Miraculous days and nights Carlson has fought the sea, but now the cold Atlantic claims her prize. Ashore, the world is ringing with the name of Carlson. His parents, flown in from Copenhagen, join the welcoming crowds in England. With Carlson is the young officer who made the daring leap to the derelict ship. Now let's see how well you remember this headline. Who was that young man who joined Carlson on the Flying Enterprise? It was Kenneth Dancy who made that leap to fame. Heroes both. And now the world asks, what's on a hero's mind?
What are you going to do now?
I'm going to sleep.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But there is not much sleep for 37-year-old Captain Carlson. The world wants to see the man who spit in the eye of the hurricane. Acclaimed in Britain, knighted by Denmark, he comes to New York to the kind of welcome only New York knows how to give for a job well done. Wife and daughters in brand new clothes wait on the pier. And now Carlson goes through a second storm, a hurricane of ticker tape. The modest hero refuses $100,000 in TV and movie offers. A medal and a new command are reward enough for the captain who stuck with his ship. This is Casino, where a commander had to make a fateful decision between human lives and holy monuments. This is Casino, bombed and shattered in the Allied drive up the Italian boot in the early months of 1944. This barrier keeps the foot-slogging GIs from marching on to liberate the eternal city of Rome. GI armor, pinpointed by German 88s, clanked to a stop on frozen ground. German artillery is being effectively directed from an observation post established in the mountaintop abbey of Casino, overlooking the town. Should the Germans be bombed out of that holy monument? The question rocks the world. The decision to proceed comes from Supreme Commander Eisenhower himself. First, the nearby slopes are shelled in an attempt to drive the Germans out without destroying the building. The Nazis hold the tower, knowing they block the road to Rome. The Fifth Army prepares leaflets warning their Italian friends already out of the war to withdraw from the vicinity of the Abbey. The leaflets will be carried to the Abbey by special mortar shells, which burst above the building and drop the leaflets inside. Italian monks and gardeners leave, but inside, the green devils of a cracked Nazi paratroop division are ready to fight to the end. And now an airstrike is called. Light bombs are used to spare the foundation. Still, German green devils refuse to leave this house of God. And now flying forts drop 3,500 tons. Day and night, night, artillery attempts to breach the walls to end resistance. The casino attacks began in January. Can you remember, when did Mount Casino fall and open the road to Rome? Was it 60 days after the first attack, 90 days after, or 120 days after the first attack? Not 60 days after in March, not 90 days after in April, but 120 days after the first attacks, Polish and French troops blasted their way into Mount Casino. War to preserve the decent things of life destroys one of the finest monuments to the human spirit. The holy building is smashed completely by thousands of shells. A brutal contradiction of war, but Eisenhower's command decision is contained in his words: lives are more important than monuments.
In just a moment, we're going to show you one of the most exciting chapters in the world's life history. But right now, here's something that should interest you very much.
It's a long way from Berlin, Germany to these snow-covered fields of Colorado, but lessons learned in the Berlin blockade make possible an errand of mercy in the bitter winter of 1949. Thousands of animals' lives are threatened as blizzards and drifts cut them off from food. Colorado has 18 storms in 27 days. There is snow in the burning Mojave Desert. It's the worst winter for cattlemen since 1889, recalled as the year of the Great White Ruin. The nation's dinner tables are threatened with a meat shortage as steers die of thirst, for cattle refuse to eat snow. Temperatures fall to 40 below. More than 20 people die. Children go hungry in snowbound towns. Congress directs immediate relief. The know-how, the equipment are ready. Out rolls C-82 packets, wings painted red for easy rescue if planes are forced down. Food is dropped to 1 million sheep, 100,000 cattle. Can you remember what was the name the Army gave to this dramatic aerial rescue operation? They called it Operation Haylift, and it gave the livestock precious mouthfuls of forage till the bulldozers could plow the roads so that the cows could come home. Though thousands of cattle were lost, the bulk of the nation's meat crop was saved. In this crisis, snow was the enemy, not the Russians, but the dramatic weapon of swift aerial supply, perfected in the Berlin airlift, helped to win the victory for the nation's meat supply. Is man ever to know the secrets of his own universe? His most spectacular attempt to find that secret begins in December 1934, as these big ladles pour the molten glass for the mightiest mirror the world has ever seen. 400 pounds at a time, they pour 20 tons of the sticky Pyrex to make a giant eye equal to 700,000 human eyes, accurate to within 2 millionths of an inch. 14 years in the casting, cooling, and grinding. The giant special delivery package needs delicate handling. Wonder how many years of bad luck you would get if you dropped that mirror. But at last it's on its way to Palomar, California, where it will become part of a mechanism so sensitive it could detect the heat of a match 3,000 miles away. Now let's see if your memory is as sensitive as the reflecting telescope at Palomar. What is the diameter of this giant mirror? The eye of Palomar's reflecting telescope is 200 inches in diameter. To look out on such wonders as Morehouse's comet, with its tail millions of miles long. To look 6 sextillion miles at the nebula in Andromeda. To look past the Milky Way with millions of stars bigger than our sun. To look to the end of the universe, perhaps to find the very secret of creation. History is sometimes made by diplomats in striped pants, sometimes by young men in fleece jackets. Kids who hop into a plane at Caswell Air Base, Texas, and take off on a flight unique in the annals of aviation. This B-50, a converted Superfort, is going to do what no plane has ever done before. It's going around the world non-stop, Texas to Texas, and no land in between. Yes, this flight will make history, and the men who are making it read comics over the intercom, drink canned pineapple juice, crack jokes, and sing their college songs until they finally make contact with the first tanker refueling plane over the Azores. They drop a line and slowly reel in the refueling hose. The same procedure is followed over Arabia, over the Philippines, over Johnson Island in the Pacific. It's close work. It needs young eyes, young timing, the daring of young men. The lucky lady takes her big drink and is away, completing another leg on this first non-stop flight around the world. The older men, the secretaries, the generals, wait on the ground as the big ship planes in beautifully for a landing. 23,400 miles they covered. What was the plane's elapsed time for the trip? Was it 94 hours, 1 minute, 91 hours, 8 minutes, 78 hours, 55 minutes? "78 hours is Reynolds and Odom's round-the-world record. 91 hours is Howard Hughes, but they stopped to refuel. The lucky lady took 94 hours and 1 minute and did it non-stop, not a speed record. But these men proved that American bombers can go anywhere and get back. All over the world, older men in chancelleries will study the flight of these youngsters and think twice before they tangle with ships like the Lucky Lady and young men with wings who made these exciting headlines on Parade.